Hey guys, Morgan's Maintenance. Today's video is going to be a watch me work, and it's also going to be part of my garage over my garage series, where essentially I built a new garage over the existing garage that I'm standing in now to give me some more space, which you'll see throughout this video, but then also a new exterior, new roof, all those kinds of things. I've got some videos on that if you want to check that out. Also have a video where I installed that toe soap mini split as part of this as well. And today I'm going to install a security camera system. ONWOTE reached out to me, heard that I was going to install a security camera system through the lives or anything else where we were talking about this, and asked if they could send me their system for me to check out. So they did send me this for free, so I'm going to go ahead and disclose that up front, but they're not paying me in any way. I can say anything I want to about this video. And then also, this is just going to be an installation video. So I'm going to show you what you get in the box with the system that they sent me. I'm going to run the wires. I'm going to hook up the cameras. I'll give you a brief overview, but it's really a easy plug and play system. But I'm not an expert on the internal things of cameras and all those kinds of things like that. I'm not the person to listen to for that, but I can run wire. I can hook things up, so that's what I'm going to do. And the system that they sent me is the 8 megapixel cameras. There's a total of 8 cameras. It's a 4 terabyte hard drive, and it is an NRV PoE system, which means power over Ethernet. I felt like that would actually be a better fit for my garage. I typically use Wi-Fi cameras, but then you have to run power to all those things. So even though this system may be a little bit expensive, you're not running wire to everywhere because you're running the power to the cameras over the Ethernet cable that you're running. So I think it's going to be a little bit cheaper in that aspect of things, especially if you're someone who can't run your own electric yourself. That's going to be a costly thing to put up Wi-Fi cameras all over your house. So again, they got other systems. I'll put the current price of the one that they put me up here with the 8 cameras. They have some that have 4 cameras, less storage, more cameras, more storage. This is a 16 channel system, so you can actually add more cameras to it later if you decide to do so as well. But I'm going to go over what you get in the box. I'm going to hook it up first because I've already hooked up one camera. That way I can be watching things on my phone as I'm adjusting cameras and things like that. I'll show you that first, and then I'll start running wire, and we're going to get the rest of the cameras hooked up. But let's go ahead and jump into what you get in the box. So again, this system is from ONWOTE. This is the box that it came in. In that box, you are going to get the receiver unit itself. This is where all the recording happens. Everything's hooked up into this, all those kinds of things. We are going to get 8 cameras in this system. They all come in those boxes there. Again, I have one hooked up over here. That's the one that I'm going to hook up and show you here in just a minute on my TV. And then also you're going to get 8 60-foot lengths worth of cable as far as to run to your camera. So everything is provided that you're possibly going to need to run these. They do come with a mouse that you can plug in. That's to control the unit. I'm actually not going to use this. I've got a wireless mouse because my TV is over there, and I'm putting my unit here centrally located in my garage so that it's for sure that that 60 feet is going to get me everywhere that I need to go. So you're going to get the power cable. That's going to be included. They also give you a small Ethernet cable to hook into your Wi-Fi, which I've got hooked into my Google Mesh system there. And then you're going to get the instructions and all those kinds of things. So again, very easy system to take into consideration. HDMI cable, I did run a HDMI cable into this, going up my wall over to my TV. That's already ran. That is not included. You will have to, provide whatever your monitor is, whatever cable you need to hook up to the monitor. So here is the back side of the unit. So again, it is a 16 channel system. You can see 1 through 16 right here. So you can hook up to 16 cameras. This is where your internet's going to hook into if you want to tie it into your internet. Again, you don't have to. It's all being recorded here. And then again, here's where you would hook it up to your monitors, whichever type of monitor you want to use. It does have an alarm in and alarm out. I know nothing about that, but just to let you know in case you're interested, it does have that. And then again, here is where you're going to hook up your power source. So I'm going to go ahead and hook that up. And then we're going to power on the unit right there. Just by turning that on, you're going to see the light start to flash. I will go ahead and hook up my monitor to the HDMI cable. And I'm doing this one-handed while holding the camera. And we'll see what shows up on my TV screen. So you'll end up getting some glare as I keep coming back to this because of my lighting. But as you can see as it boots up, I've got all 16 channels from the ONWOTE system poked up here. Again, I've only got one camera hooked up right now. So I'll go over here now to the Ethernet cable that I do have run. We're going to plug that into channel 1. I'm going to also go ahead and plug up my internet cable so that I can show you on my phone how that works as well. And again, I'll be using that as I install the cameras so that I can see and adjust them without having to move. But we'll come over here to the TV now and we'll see what happens on channel number 1. Now you can see that the camera has come online. You can maybe see me pointing, but I can also take my mouse. You can see my cursor moving down here. Go double click on this, and now it is full and on my screen. So again, the camera is here. You can see me waving at the camera. Very clear picture. Again, I don't know how I'll be able to bring that across, but I also hooked this up for another reason. I'm hoping it's going to be my second cameraman because I'm working by myself. So I'm going to be filming all this with my head cam, but I will have this one kind of going the whole entire time I'm working because it's recording right now. Maybe I'll be able to pull some of that footage off and use that for this video as well. So again, very easy, plug and play. You just basically hook everything up over here, start plugging in your cameras. As I run these cameras and I start hooking them up outside, we'll come inside and check out how it's coming up on my screen over there. And then I'll go through some options as we get into it as far as the settings and things that you can get in there. But I'm not going to go crazy on that because, again, there's tons of things I'm sure it does that I'm not going to know. But one side about this is, and this is how I plan to use this, is you can go download the app. You can see E-Link Defense. I can click on that. It goes through a process. All you have to do is go to add a device, pick wired connection, and then now you can see I can also get to what I'm seeing on my screen right there as well. So while I'm outside hooking up cameras, once they come online, I should be able to be out there adjusting my camera and looking at my phone and be able to tell where it is and how I need to move it instead of walking all the way back in here every time and going to that monitor. I think that's going to be pretty helpful as well. So again, that's why I went ahead and hooked it up, got everything kind of set up, but it's, again, very easy, plug and play. There wasn't anything hard about the process. All it was, whenever I got online to do the mobile app, I had to basically put in a password, select what my system was, that it was a wired connection, and boom, it just came on my phone super easy. The book has in there that you can also connect to a Mac or PC as well if that's what you want to do. But enough talking about the system. Let's go ahead and start running some wires and let's get some cameras hooked up. So I'm going to be running a total of 7 cameras out of the 8. The one that I've already showed you that's on my screen, and then 5 around the perimeter and 1 into my new section down there. I already ran a 2-inch conduit up into my attic type area. That's where I'm actually going to start running the wires, is from there, and then I'll fish them down into here later. I'll do all this cable management at a later date too. My goal right now is just to get them through here, hooked up, make sure everything's working. So we're going to go ahead and take these wires, go up towards the attic area, and start pulling them. And the only tools I'm going to use for this process is my M12 stapler, and then also I'm going to go ahead and grab some of these extra staples. I'm going to wear my Strauss vest, so I've got some pockets to put some of these staples in to keep them from falling out. I probably won't need that many, but I'm going to stick them in here, that way I've got them. And grab I'm going to do 3 wires each side. I'm going to need 3 cameras on each side, left and right. I'm going to run one side at a time. I've already got one up there, so we're going to grab 2 more of these. I also already pulled some ceiling tiles out of the way. That way y'all don't have to watch me, do that later as well. But I'm going to use a bar clamp spaced across there. You can see my 1 wire that's already there. And again, there's my HDMI cable, and also the cable that I already ran to the camera that I'm running. They're coming up this 2-inch pipe here, coming up above my ceiling, and I'm going to go 3 wires this way, 3 wires that way. We'll start out going off to this side and do that one first. So I'm going to need a total of 3 cables. And they're all going the same direction, so I'm going to attempt to pull all 3 of them at one time. And again, I've not really ever even used this. This is just something I came up with. We'll see how well this works. I'm going to go ahead and flip this around. Take this off. Slide this on. Because if you uncoil these, and I only know this because I already did the one, You know, they all got that memory kind of built into them of the coil, and it's kind of hard to pull it by yourself. That's why I'm not going to pull up that pipe. It would end up getting tangled up a lot. To loosen this. I'm hoping this works. I planned on having Miss Maintenance help me, but she had something she had to do this weekend, and this is the first free day I've had to even attempt to try this. I'm hoping that these don't end up getting jumbled. So now I'm going to take these off. And if this doesn't go well, then I'll just have to do one at a time. So there's 1, 2, and we'll go with this as the outside, I think. 3. One of these is not going to go very far compared to the other ones. And if y'all have better ideas of this, put it in the comments below, because I kept pondering of good ways, and we're going to see. I think they're all going to end up probably getting jumbled, but we'll see. Let me go ahead and pull these two down the same amount, or close to. The real test is going to be whenever I get far away. What happens? One of them is going to go right here, and then the other two are going to go on the corner of the building on the front. Set that there for now. Moment of truth. Are they going to pull? Not really. I think it's that last one that's a problem. So let's see if the other two pull. Not really. Let me see if I can get directly overhead. And pull up. And see, that's working okay. So again, it would be a much easier job with 2 people. Let me see if I get some off, if it will work. So I'm probably gonna have to keep coming back. So let me go ahead and run one, the shorter one first. Over here to the side wall. Get out enough that I think will get me to there. And that's probably enough. Where I want this is basically right down in there. Get myself a little extra. That should be enough. And I'm in a ceiling again, so I may end up knocking you guys loose to where the footage will stink, but we'll see. At this point, I will go in, and once I get them all run, I'll start fishing them down into that pipe. Give me a service loop here for all of it, and then also give some on that other side. But now I'm gonna grab these other two. I'm gonna go ahead and grab some slack on it. Again, since I'm gonna have to come back and kind of pull some as I go. And I may try a different method on the other side and just see if it works any better doing them one at a time or something. The other side, I won't have to climb up into the attic or this area, you know, quite as much. So I think it'll be a little easier. Let's go back down. The only downside really of not starting kind of where your camera is and working your way back is you could then at that point just try pulling here, see what that does. You could staple it as you go and not have to do kind of two trips, because I can't really staple it till I get the wire where I want it and then start working backwards. But again, I'm doing it by myself, so this is how I wanted to do it. So now I'm just going to get me a bunch kind of up here, and hopefully they won't get tangled. Originally I thought about running them down through there because I'm going over to this far corner. I don't know if y'all are seeing that or not, and I still could, but I'd just as soon just go ahead and put them up in this ceiling over here. It's easier for me to deal with, and I needed to run one to this corner anyways. And the other side, I don't have a ceiling in yet, so it should be a lot easier. Or insulation. And had I known I was going to get this camera system, I would have waited on this ceiling, but there's those. Now let me go ahead and get a drill. Let's get a camera out. So the camera works. It's got this cover plate. You twist, that slides off and gives you access to the 3 screw holes. Comes with all the screws that you need. little mounting kit, and then also stuff to weatherproof your connection as well, which none of mine, all my connections are going to be on the inside of the building, but I mean, I'm still going to use those. But it also comes with a template. I'm going to be using a 7/8 spade bit. You can drill a bigger hole. You really need it to be able to fit like at least this much in there, but my 7/8 is going to do me fine. I went ahead and put it in this Klein locking extension. I'm not going to need that on most of the areas, but there's a few spots where I'm going to be drilling through like my cantilever for my porch. So I got multiple things. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in here. I'm also going to go ahead and get out a small drill bit because this siding is a little bit hard to drill into for screws, and the heads on those are right, so I'm going to use the screws that were provided. So I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill these holes as well, just to make that a little bit easier process whenever I get to that too. So roughly right in here, I'm going to make me a little see if I can reach up here. And grab that. Probably not. Yeah, I can try. I've got to drill all the way through on this one because I do have siding on both sides. So another good reason to use the extension. I'll make sure it's out of the way. Now, I don't know if I can fish that through there or not. I wasn't planning on the siding on both sides. Hard to take you guys along for the ride on this one. Yeah, I'm probably going to stick a fish stick through there. I doubt I'll get lucky and hit both holes. We'll see. No. We'll get a fish stick. Slide this on through. Come on, baby. You can do it. There you are. All right. Now let's go ahead and hook up a camera. Plug it up. That way it's a little break in the wire running. So there's one of these pieces. There's no really instructions on how to go about doing this, but intuitively I'm going to assume you slide this over because that's the cap, slide this, it's got a split onto your cable. This was the one thing, this little O-ring was one I wasn't sure if it went. It doesn't really fit in here, and if I do put it in here, it doesn't really lock. Once I try, like this isn't deep enough to go in there and lock at that point. So I assumed this goes right here. But if I'm wrong, you can let me know in the comments, and I might go change them. But all my connections like this, all this is going to be on the interior of my building anyway, so I don't really care. I honestly don't even feel like I need any of this. But now you slide this through there. Take this off. Internet cable pops in. Actually, I might have put that backwards. I think I did. No. Slides and locks. Come down and put this down. Screw this cap on. I feel like that's right. Slide this down. Maybe you gotta push this on down into here. There you go. Now you got a seal here. That ring right there is where I assume it goes. And then all this you can push. Again, you might want to go a little bit bigger than a 7/8 hole if you want to, but it fits in there. I probably will actually on my next one, just because of the fishing aspect. You can push all this back inside. If you can't fit it inside, you can coil up some of it inside of your unit right there. And then again, you're going to go and line up your screw holes. I'm going to take a screw. And then the camera is entirely adjustable, like once you get it set. So you don't have to like get it turned a certain way as you like locate it and all that kind of stuff. You can move it all once you get it where you want it. I really need a Phillips bit without this bit holder on it. I'm getting in there. It's tight, but it could be just a smidge tighter. Or I might go get me a screwdriver to carry with me to finish it off. But see, now I can adjust it. You can even adjust like this little bevel that allows you to like move it more down, but you can kind of adjust it. And I believe the camera, this right here, goes on the bottom as far as to be oriented correctly inside whenever I get to it. So I'm gonna kind of go ahead and do that. Tilt it, take your cover, there you're done. So there's that one installed. Now let's go back over. That way you can see this whole process, see it hooked up, and then if you want to watch the rest of the running wires, you can. But again, it's one right after another of the same stuff. So that's this wire here. I'm going to go ahead and pull off the rest of it, because I don't know if I'm going to use this method on that other side. It didn't really seem like it helped me a whole lot. Maybe it did, and I'll know it after I don't use it. But it didn't seem drastically better for me. So now I'm going to take, I think I can fish this down that pipe without, since I don't have very many wires in there yet, without actually running a fish tape and all that stuff. And I've already got this one stapled off to this point. Maybe not. I think I'm hitting that HDMI cable. There we go. Yeah, it's gonna be easier. Wi-Fi'd it won't take 2 seconds. And if I hook this one up too, you will also be able to see the whole process in case other footage is bad. Maybe I can find some good footage on another one if this one's bad. should be enough. Now a smart person would tie a string back and forth on this so that you could just do it back and forth and not have to fish this up there every time, but it ain't a big deal, and I don't feel like finding my string and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and tape up that end, keep from breaking that tab. But while I'm down here, instead of pulling the string back and forth, and to keep me from having to do a step down, I am going to go ahead and just fish this back up. That way it's ready for the next one. Alright, so this is that one. I'm going to hook it up on slot number 2. We'll come over to the screen, exit out. So we'll watch number 2. So again, it's a plug and play. You don't have to get in here and, you know, install your camera some way, somehow, like figure up addresses and all that kind of stuff. It just automatically does it. It does take a few minutes. So this is real time. It's going to say camera offline first. That's because it's realizing there is a camera, and now you can see that. So now, again, since it's on my phone on the internet, let me go ahead and make that one bigger. You can kind of see I need to turn it for sure. But let me go to the internet now. See how this looks. Here's 2 of 2. I can see it on here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see if I turn sideways. So now I can go in here. This is kind of a big deal, like I said, especially if you're working by yourself. That's kind of more in line of what I'm looking for. Come down some maybe. Maybe more towards the garage door. More towards this way. I think that's probably pretty good right there. So that's pretty much it to install the camera. You turn the power on the unit. Again, the first time you get on there, you log in and give a password, which I wouldn't have wanted to show you anyways, because who wants to give you my password? But then after that, it's just plug and play. You plug up the cable to the camera, it finds itself, it's hooked up. And again, getting on the internet on your phone, there's directions inside of the booklet, but basically you just get on here, it gives you a barcode to scan with your phone. You set up a password and an account with that, and then you can start seeing it on your phone as well. So one camera of, let's see, 6 more to go, I guess, or 5 more because I already have 1. So 6 more to go. So I've got these 2 now. So I had to do a battery change. So on this one, I'm going to be basically putting 2 kind of on the corner of the building out there. So one of them I'll just be drilling through the outside sheathing and all that stuff. Now this one over here, I'm going to be drilling through the outside sheathing, the cavity of the wall, and then having to come through both of those 2x12s, I think is what they are, that are sandwiched together. Those are a cantilever for my porch out there. So I'm going to need to use a couple of extensions. I'm going to use the Klein locking extension. That's the only one of those I have. And then I'll put a couple of these Milwaukee ones together so I can get through all that. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to go outside. Let me go ahead and grab, I think I got a ladder in here. I'll grab that. I've got my template. I've got my drill bits. We'll go ahead and go out and drill the holes first. I should have brought a fish stick out here with me because I'll need it to go through here. I may need it actually on that other one too. But I know that my ceiling is below my beam here, so that means as long as I put a camera up in there, I won't be coming out my wall on the inside. So I've got my template. I'm going to go ahead and span the middle of that because I can't get it to where I'm not on that joint, so I'm just going to kind of space it over the middle of that joint. Through. So there's that one. So I have a stud right here. I can see that nail right there, and I can see my nails all the way down. So I'm gonna go ahead and if I put my hole like right there, it's gonna be exactly where the stud is if I put my camera in the corner. So I'm gonna go ahead and move my first screw out to that stud line, and that will split the difference on this joint for my main hole as well. Drill this hole, drill this hole. That line back up because it moved a little on me. And these templates are actually stickers that you can take off and kind of stick to your wall if you want to make sure. I'm just using the same one. Let's see. The insulation's what's gonna play havoc on me. Through. There we go. Make sure I go over the grid. If not, I'll be pulling that. How many times have y'all worked in a grid ceiling pulling wire and you realize you got it looped under a grid? It kind of stinks when that happens. I'm making sure and taping over them little tabs, the locking tabs on your cable, so that don't break off. worried about even using this stuff, but started. Since they're not magnetic, I'm not going to use a lock and bit holder. Instead, I'm just going to get a long skinny bit. I don't know if you guys can see that insulation there, but that's what's got me. Pry it off of it. Right there we go. So you can set up notifications and things on these cameras as well to your phone, and all the phone stuff, all that stuff, it doesn't cost any kind of subscription. There's no like monthly fees or anything like that, so that's always good, because like for my other cameras I have to pay monthly fees. Now I'm going to swap back to the stapler and go and staple these off. Again, I'm going to leave myself a little extra wire on this end in case something happens and I need to put a new end on. And then the rest of it I'm going to be pretty much putting up here. So I'm going to go ahead and get back up into this space. Probably need to move over. most of it I'll do from down there, but I'm gonna go ahead and get them off of this. You can see over there I don't have a drop ceiling or anything, so that side over there is like drastically easier. Again, I'm only taping these so I don't break them little tabs. There goes two. Put this in 3 and 4. So we should see them come up over here. I'm sure y'all are getting that. Again, at first it'll come up and say camera is offline. Takes a few minutes. There's my side view of my 2 windows right there. And there is my truck, and currently my trailer as well, because we're about to be moving my son. That one's actually pretty good. I might see if I can raise it up just a little, because I'm also going to be putting one on this other side, kind of going this direction to see the door. So I kind of want to see my porch area and stuff with this one a little bit better. So now again, I can take my phone out. I'm on camera 2 of 2, it says, because that's that one. Now it says 2 of 4, so here's number 3. You see my side view, and here's number 4. You can see my truck. Now that I'm out of the wind a little bit, that audio might have been messed up. I'm just gonna go into go mode on these last 3 cameras and just go at it. I've got 3 more to run, 2 up here in this corner, which is basically like new construction. There's no ceiling insulation, it's gonna be really easy. And another one over here, that's the same thing. And then I'll come back at the end, I'll show you the picture on all of them on my TV, like one by one. That way you can get an idea of the quality of the picture, because I feel like it's pretty good. And then if I can also put in some, you know, clips that I can record off my phone, or take the recording off of my phone and put it in there, I will as well. Maybe that quality will be a little bit better. But I want to run these, and then we'll come back at the end and we'll talk about the ONWOTE system. Barely missed that stud on that one. these here. Yeah. There you go, guys. There was the install of the ONWOTE NVR PoE camera system. Again, I got the 8 camera kit. They sent it to me. I've got one extra camera because I only installed 7. But really, the install is super easy. It's a plug-and-play kind of system. You just run the cable from the camera to your system. You plug it right in the back. You plug up the power. It couldn't be any easier. Everything kind of just locks in itself. You don't have to do any programming or anything like that. Now, I'm sure there are things you can do within the software that would allow you to do several things that maybe I'm not going to get into, because one is I don't know how to do most of that stuff. And two is it's like this would be a crazy long video. It's already long as it is. But here it is installed. Again, everything's in there. All the things are in the back. I will do some more cable management and stuff in the future. In fact, I'm probably going to actually do something where you're not going to see any of that. But whenever we get over here to the system itself, again, Picture is really good. You're going to be looking at it through a screen on my TV, but here's me talking to you as it's recording. Again, they do give you a mouse. I'm using a wireless mouse so that I can, be a little bit farther away from my system, but I can click out of this. Here is my other area where I did some work. As far as that's that lower garage section. Here's my truck. So I've got different pictures, 7 different ones. You can right click here, or actually let me go into a camera, go into playback, and then it's going to pull up. You can go over here and pick your date on the calendar. You can go down here and it's got motion events in orange. You can see motion right there is orange, and you can go over and find all the spots where there was some motion. So you can see me. This is back whenever I was installing the camera. So it's very easy to get into these. And then on top of that, again, I can actually go into my phone, which the app, by the way, does not have very good reviews. It's only like 2.9, but it couldn't have been easier, in my opinion, to install. But there's all 7 of my cameras. I can go into camera number 2, which is where we're at, I think. And you can see me walking around right now talking to you, and then I can go back into playback mode and stuff on that camera as well. So very good system, easy to install, plug and play in my opinion. The only thing that I wish that would have been a little bit better, so if I'm going to give feedback to ONWOTE, I would say put some better screws, like some that have a little bit of magnetism. Those are really small screws, and most of the cameras are going to be installed outside, and you drop one in that grass, it's done for. And then maybe it might be me, I'm always running that kind of cable out of a box, and I'm able to pull it and it's not going to get tangled up. So I would have ran like 3 boxes worth of stuff and pulled all those cables at one time. I don't know if it's because they were coiled up like that in the packaging to make it fit into a small box for shipping, but whenever you have a set of wires like this right here, since I've got an extra one, it's very hard for me to deal with that a lot of times. I mean, I ended up getting it. Of course, I am working by myself. It would have been an easier 2-person job, but not a big deal. Again, let me know in the comments below if a PoE system is something that you feel is better, because again, now I'm going to have my cameras whether I have internet or not. And then also, I didn't have to run everywhere where I put the camera. If I would have ran Wi-Fi cameras, I would have had power going out to those areas, or I would have had to get solar cameras. And with me putting all mine under my soffit, that was not a good fit. But overall, again, let me know in the comments below what you guys think about it. As always, I hope this video was interesting and useful in some way. You guys stay safe, have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next video.